Hey everyone. Today we're going to be ranking all the Trivium albums. Now, I'll fully admit it, I have not listened to The Crusade, In Waves, and Silence in the Snow. So this is ranking almost every Trivium album, I guess. Yeah. I have not listened to Ember and Inferno, although almost everything. Again, almost everything. So yeah, let me make a just quick. What the heck? Okay, so Ember to Inferno, I haven't listened to it. I mean, I've tried a couple times, but the guitar tone sucks. It's not good. Um, I don't know. I'll have to listen to it more to get a more concrete opinion, though. Ascendancy, though, is going straight in S tier. I love this album. It didn't click with me on the first listen, mainly because I wasn't really used to a just full-on screaming Trivium a lot of the time. Um, but I gave the album a second shot one day because one song stuck with me was maybe a bit predictably Pull Harder, and I just kept listening to that song and I liked it more and more I listened to it. So I decided to give it a second shot, and I really enjoyed it the second time around. We have this Crusade. I have not listened to it. I listened to like a couple seconds of a few songs. It doesn't sound like it's for me, but I don't know. I'll have to give it a more concrete listen. So next we have Shogun. Shogun is a bit of a weird one. This is regarded as their best album. I don't think it's their best by any means. What do I mean by that? I mean, well, it feels weird. Some of the choruses don't feel right, in my opinion. They don't feel like they fit the song, especially with songs like let's see here. Torn between Celia and Caterbius. I butchered that last one. Torn between the chorus doesn't really fit the song at all, in my opinion. Kirite Gomen is okay. Down from the Sky is one of the better tracks. Into is okay as well. There's Pterodon, probably one of the best songs on the album. Insurrection is once again just okay. Um, I'm like I don't really dig the top half of this album too much. Then we get to the Calamity, and this is where things kind of pick up for me. I really like the Calamity, and then I really like pretty much every song after that. So yeah, I'm a bit like I absolutely love like the back half, but I don't really care much for the latter half, for like the front half of the album. So I'm gonna put it in B tier because I think it just isn't like consistent enough or consistently good enough for me anyways. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right in places, and I don't know. The latter half though absolutely wrecks. Um, and what do we have next? In Waves. So In Waves is another one I have not listened to. Um, I mean, I can't even tell you why. Just haven't gotten to it yet. What do we have? Vengeance Falls. This is a tasty. This is a bit of a controversial opinion, but I'm gonna put this in A tier. I contemplated on where I would put this, but I think Pigeons Falls is a really good album, and I think it gets overhated a lot. So you're reading comments on some of the Shogun stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is their best album." Obviously, these are from like 5 to 7 years ago, and um, it just they were just like rogging on Vengeance Falls, which it's a great album. I really like it. It does have a more it does focus a lot more on clean singing than a lot of the previous albums, other than The Crusade, but we don't talk about that. Um, I don't know what else I can say more about the album. It's got some really good songs on here. Strife is pretty good. Villainy Thrives. Weak. The End is Nigh. Um, To Believe is also pretty good as well. There's a lot I like about this album, and even the lesser known tracks I still really enjoy. It was the second album I listened to by Trivium, so there might be a bit of nostalgia. Oh, but by the way, As I Am Exploding. I know it's on the special edition, but like, come on, it's so good. So, anyways, moving on from there, we have Silence in the Snow. I've not listened to this one, other than The Darkness of My Mind, which I do like. I think that's a good song. Um, this one completely just throws out the screaming, for a good reason. Matt blew out his vocal cords, and on he was able to regain his singing ability, but understandably he was scared of screaming again, and so you know there's just not a whole lot of screams on here, to my knowledge, anyways. There aren't any screams on here. Um, can't say much more about the music other than "Darkness of My Mind" is a good song. So, ooh, it's in the sentence. This is one I've listened to most recently. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I like this album. I do think it relies on, clean singing a bit too much. I actually watched the documentary for this one, and Matt was actually like, "No, I'll never do it again. I'll never scream again." you know, eventually he did cave, and he did scream on the album. He just screamed a good amount of times on the album. Um, but I don't really mind it too much. I think Matt has a really good singing voice. Some of the songs, trying to think of like cons, but I can't really think of many. Um, Other than sometimes the screams kind of feel like an afterthought on some of the songs, but I'm just gonna chalk that up to some of the songs being more completed than others. So you can really only put in so much. Um, but yeah, it's in the sense really solid album, and it leads up into the Dead Men Say. I've kind of listened to this album. I haven't listened to it fully, but I do really like the title track, and Catastrophist is a great song as well. Um, I'm gonna put it in haven't listened, which is one, two, three, four, five albums I have not listened to in their catalog, but I said almost all. This is no, I actually, you know what? Probably just gonna rename this video title to like ranking half of Trivium's albums. um, I do really like what I've heard so far from the album. But yeah, no, I definitely will have to listen to it fully sometime. Maybe some of these I'm probably never gonna listen to, like The Crusade and Silence in the Snow. I mean, just. But yeah, I like what I heard off of this one. I definitely will have to give it a full listen. I was actually a little hesitant to listen to this in the sentence. Um, but yeah. And then we have In the Court of the Dragon. Now, this I'm just gonna flat out say it is what got me into Trivium. I was not a, huge, big. I wasn't really big on like screaming in my music. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool when something, screamed. But I wasn't like, going in and like metalcore and whatnot. I wasn't a huge fan of that stuff. Wasn't really even a huge fan of just like general metal stuff, other than like Metallica a little, um, and maybe artists that do mostly clean singing. Um, so yeah, this is definitely what got me into a bit more of heavier music. I did take a few listens to fully connect. I will say, it was so much different than everything else that I was listening to, like at the time. Um, and I mean, it made my best of list for a reason. It's just really good. You really can't go wrong with an album like this. One con that is against this album, it just relies on that big open chorus too much. On songs like "In the Court of the Dragon," "Sword Over Damocles," "A Crisis of Revelation." Trying to think of what else. "Volunteer Hands" and "The Phalanx." All of those songs it works pretty well. Even "Feast of Fire" has a pretty good chorus. But then you have songs like "No Way Back, Just Through," which I do think is a fine song. It works. Just maybe a different chorus, and I'm not gonna lie, by the time I get to Dawn to Decadence on the album, I find myself just a little weared out by the big open choruses. Uh, but when it's over and we get to the Phalanx, it just reels back in with that good intensity. Um, my favorite tracks on this album are, without a doubt, "Crisis of Revelation," "Fall Into Your Hands," and "The Phalanx." Those are three of the best songs on the album, and all the other songs are really great as well. Um, Feast of Fire is a bit odd, but I do think it has a place on the album. Overall, a very solid album, and I mean, I don't know if it's a worthy follow up to What the Dead Men Say. I imagine it is. But yeah, no, this is the album that got me into Trivium, and it's the one I have the most attachment to. It's the only Trivium album I have on CD currently. Uh, so, I mean, what does that tell you about me? I don't know. But I'm gonna put this in S tier because I love this album. Nothing can change my mind about it. Again, big open courses are a big con. But I hope on the next one they don't do that as much, or they switch it up every now and then. But yeah, no, much like the Skillet one, I can't wait for the next Trivium album. I'm suspecting it might come out in 2023, but they might take another 3-year break, and it might come out in 2024. So somewhere around that time frame. They usually don't take too long to release albums. 3 years, I think, is the most they've ever went without releasing an album. So yeah, probably around 2023, 2024 is when we can expect a new Trivium. If we don't get it, uh, like 2025 at the latest is when we'd get a new Trivium album, which I wouldn't even mind if they really honed in their songwriting and stuff. But yeah, this was a ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half of the Trivium albums, um, and the rest I just haven't listened to. I'm so good, guys. Just. Mm. Anyways, thanks for tuning into this video. I wanted to do a how to get into, and I might still do that on these guys because I do really like this band. I would just have to sit through a lot of good and not good music from what I've heard. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I don't know, maybe I'll do another ranking video. You want more of those? I don't know really know what I'm gonna do next, but I don't know. Give me ideas in the comments. Uh, until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.